Hello. It's a new day. How are you doing? Hello, welcome. What? I'm always fighting with my lighting. Hello, welcome. Hi. That's my daughter-in-love. Hey, hey, hey. Come on in, you guys. I like to play music while people come in. Hello, hello. A fun mom of 4. Oh, I like that name. Why didn't I think of that? That's good. Well, come on in. You're new here? Well, welcome. Thanks for coming. Hey, you guys, do you know how to share with people? If you know anybody that would like to know about a tried and true chore system, you can, on your iPhone, you can swipe to the right to invite your friends, or you can swipe up if you're on Android, and then maybe we can help some other people too. So, yeah, because it seems like we all need help, and if you have kids, you have a built-in workforce. Thanks for sharing. So why not learn a way to get it done? So a little bit, I hate to have to turn off Benny Goodman, but hello, welcome. All right, Benny, thanks for bringing us in. All right, well, hey, welcome. I'm Erica Johns, and I am a mother of 6. We have 6 children, 5 boys and 1 girl from the ages of 12 to 23. And I'm also a proud grandmother of 1 adorable little girl. And my husband and I have been married for 24 years, and we have homeschooled for most of the past 18 years and lived to tell the tale, and we're still smiling and laughing. So, hey, maybe that gives you hope. I also have 2, yes, thank you for tapping for hearts. I love it. I also have 2 online businesses that I do in my spare time when I'm not homeschooling or other things. Enrichmentstudies.com is a great place for homeschool families to incorporate more fine arts into their family life and into your school. We've got like the easiest and awesomest art appreciation in the world. We also have composer study, artist study, things like that. There's free stuff that you can get if you go and sign up under the Try It Free. Also, I run menuplanningsentral.com, which is a total sanity saver. All your menus planned for you, printable shopping lists, and makes life easier, because who doesn't need life to be easier, right? So anyways, but today I was on Facebook, and there was a mom who was asking how people handle chores or whatever. Oh, which one? Here we go. Is that the one? There's this one. You guys can screenshot if you want to be able to remember this for later. And there's freebies at both sites. Did you catch it, Gina? Okay, I see you got it. All right, hello. So somebody was asking about chores, and I just thought, you know, I'm actually getting ready. Our family's doing our Thanksgiving tonight, so I've got to go in a little while, but I just thought I've got time to just tell you guys how we have done chores. So we actually started this probably 15 years ago. So I think that my oldest would have been, I'm going to say 7 or 8. I can't do my math right now. Yeah, about 7 probably. And what we do is we have this thing I call chore areas. So when I started out, like, I only had 2 little worker bees, because pretty much we had like a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, or a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, or whatever, for my oldest 2 kids. But I needed something that was going to be really simple to keep up on. Knowing myself, as cute as they are, I'm not going to keep up with a chore wheel or whatever, like some complicated thing where they're going to change a lot. So for me, what I did is I just divided the house into zones, and I give a kid a zone. They volunteer. They can usually pick a zone to do. So like when they were little and they were starting out, I think we probably just had like one person helped in the kitchen and one person did the living room. So like the living room person would be in charge of vacuuming and picking up the stuff off the floor. You know, if someone left their shoes or whatever, they're going to drop it off, you know, at their bedroom. You know, for the kitchen helper, they might be wiping off the table and vacuuming or things like that. And it's, we keep that chore area for a long time, like 6 to 12 months probably. I don't really have like a set time frame. Usually just like a time will come up when people say, can we please change chore areas? And then we do. So, you know, when we started out, when they were little, you just pick stuff that they can learn to do. And I picked areas where I was already going to be around so I could supervise and kind of coach them and help them learn to do the thing. And I think it's really good that they keep the same area for a long time because they get good at it. They learn how to, you know, do whatever that thing is. And, you know, for the ones that are younger that need more supervision, or if you have ones that tend to stray off into something else, you know, or whatever, you give them the chores that you can keep track of the easiest. But anyway, so we just start out with little kids, but it was amazing how much that they could do. And little kids can do all sorts of stuff. And, you know, and it doesn't matter if they're not like doing it as well as you would, because like in the case for me, when we started out, I had 4 little kids. Hello, welcome. So I needed all the help I could get, and I wasn't going to get to everything myself. So, you know, just like encouraging them that we never made it like it was a punishment or anything. It was just, you know, okay, now we're going to clean up the house. And, you know, you put on fun music, and usually we would have a timer going, typically 15 minutes. What I liked to do was at the start of our day after breakfast, thanks, hi Mississippi, after breakfast we'd usually do about 15 minutes on our chore areas and 15 minutes of straightening up their rooms. And then we just start our school day, and we just got in the habit of doing that, and really it was amazing how much they could get done in that first half an hour. And then, you know, nothing's gross. You know, if somebody drops by, you're not dying of embarrassment. So so that was good. As the kids grew up, and eventually I had 6 kids, there's more people to spread out the areas to, and so then you can start to cover more areas of the house. In the case, like if you only have 2 kids, maybe you can do like odds and evens days. So maybe they have 2 chore areas. So like maybe on, you know, the odds days, they're the living room person, and on the evens days, they're the bathroom person. I don't know what would work for you, but just something that would keep it really simple. So like now I have 4 of my children left that are still at home, that aren't big, and they are like 12, 14, 15, and 17. So obviously they can do more. So the expectations on their chore areas have expanded. So for instance, now like the family room person is not only in charge of like picking up the floor and vacuuming, but also general straightening. Like that's where we have like the game systems. They're supposed to like, you know, re-straighten the games and put them away. They can dust, you know, stuff that's been left on the couches can go back to wherever it came from, general pickup and stuff like that. Also, you know, you may start to get to the point where if they're really good at it and they work quickly, then maybe some days you have time for them to like clean the windows or wipe down all the switch plates and the doorknobs or things like that. Sometimes I've had actual checklists that I've like slipped into a page protector and posted on the wall in a room so that they can even follow down what are the steps to making sure that their area is clean. Again, obviously you need to have a reader that can do that or whatever, and it would just work, you know, it would just depend on your family and your child how much guidance they need. I've got a person that's my bathroom person. He does a deep clean of both bathrooms once a week, plus he's in charge of what we call swipe and wipe duty every day. And so that includes like, you know, anything that's like, you know, if the toilet needs a little quick swish, you know, he does that. Make sure that the toilet paper is stocked, make sure that there's enough liquid soap in the soap dispensers, make sure we've got a fresh towel, you know, wipe off the counters. Anything that looks a little bit gross, just clean it really quick. It's like, really like all of that takes 2 minutes, you know, just when he gets up in the morning or whatever, that he can keep up on that. And our bathrooms are never gross. I have 5 sons and I've never had disgusting bathrooms. So there you go. it doesn't take that big of an effort to keep up on it. And really it's not because they're super careful. Trust me. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Do you have any questions? Is there any specific area of the home that you're interested in, or a particular scenario that you're wondering how it would work, or you need ideas? I didn't really plan for this, so I'm trying to think of my best ideas for you. You don't have any questions. You already know everything. That's good. Homeschool room cleanup. Yep. That's actually 4 cents here. Yes. Oh, I've got a good, okay. I'm going to come back to that homeschool room thing. I will tell you a thing that I did do when my boys were being kind of really not careful at aiming for the bathroom. I actually got a canister of, I don't have to post the chores anywhere because they just know. We all know what our chores are because we keep them for a long time. So I just say, everybody go to your chore area, and they just do them. And if something's not done, I don't have to wonder, oh, is it Wednesday? Whose day was it? I know whose job it is to clean that particular area. We all know. So if somebody didn't do their thing, it's easy to know who. So we don't have to post it anywhere. But anyways, for the boys in the bathroom, how long do they have that chore? As long as we decide for them to have it. It's at least 6 months. Sometimes we've probably kept the same chores for a year. Usually there comes a point where the kids ask, could we please get new chores? You know, we want new chore areas. And so then I, make a list and we go around and everybody chooses. And then we have new chores and we just go forward from there. So the bathroom thing for the boys, I got a canister of those cleaning wipes, like the Clorox wipes or whatever. And actually in Sharpie, I wrote down an assignment for each person. So I had like one person's job was every time that he peed, he had to take a wipe and like wipe off the toilet seat and the back splash part of the seat. Another kid, his job was every time he went into the bathroom, he had to wipe around the base and the sides of the toilet. Another one did like put the seat down, the lid down, and did like the handle and the tank. And another one did around the outside of the bowl. Okay, so I like actually wrote, and each of them had this little wiping assignment to do. So the idea was just each time you're in here, take an extra 5 seconds and wipe off this thing. And nobody had to do the whole big thing themselves, but it got them more conscientious about noticing there's more than just the inside of the toilet bowl to clean. And also they were much more aware of how much of a mess can happen if you're not being careful. What ages were the boys? I can't honestly remember. I'm going to say, though, I think we probably had kids as young as 3 or 4 that were participating in that. My kids are like all like in a 10, 11 year range. And, we did that for quite a while, and it worked just fine. Since then, they've gotten older and they're not such slobs. So it hasn't really been necessary to go back to that. So there's that. Okay, someone asked about the schoolroom thing. I had that built into the end of our school day for like a 15-minute, everybody helps clean up the schoolroom, and you straighten up, clear the tables, put away the books, just whatever kinds of stuff like that you need to do. So that's something you could do kind of as a group just at the end. Now I will say that timing did not work great for us because a lot of times either we're scooting right out the door to an activity like a sports practice, or everybody's just tired, including me. And really, when you're tired and you're not really like the enforcer, if you're not in enforcer mode, stuff kind of falls to the wayside. So that hasn't been the best for me, just because I get to feel a little bit nappy by the end of a long, hard school day. But that could work for you, or just have somebody's job be the schoolroom. Okay, so let's see. Any other specific questions that you have? Little ones, even, like 1.5, 2 years old, they can do chores with you, and you just make it fun. You know, hey, do you want to help mommy? You know, if you're wiping off the counter, you know, give them a little cloth and they can get up there, you know, they can wipe off too. And of course they're not going to be good at it, but the point is, you know, they're part of your tribe, they're part of your community, and they're doing what you do. So if you're loading the dishwasher, give them a spoon, let them put it in. If you're wiping something off, if you're, you know, whatever, just, and you know, you are the leader, and so you are setting the tone for the mindset of, you know, how we approach chores. So it's a great, you know, reality check for us too, to remember, you know, hey, you know, why are we folding our laundry? Because we're blessed. You know, why do we have stuff to clean up in the kitchen? What if a kid hates the assigned chore? I usually let them pick. Sometimes they end up with a chore that they hate. Okay, like for instance, I will tell you, in recent years, I started having somebody be the laundry man. Now, my kids are supposed to do their laundry themselves, and they generally do, but then there's also like household laundry, the towels. My husband and I have laundry to go in, plus just inevitably some stuff from, you know, household members end up in the laundry. And so it's not like a perfect system for do your own laundry. But so we need somebody that at least does the general laundry. It's a big job. We have six to seven people that are living here all the time. So even though it's helped a lot to have the kids take over doing their own, it's still, well, I mean, it's not really a lot. Actually, no, it's not a lot, because we only really need to do one load of laundry a day to really keep up on the general laundry. So really, the whole thing could get folded and put away in 15 minutes. But for some reason, this feels like a hard thing. I had one child, my 12-year-old, my youngest, was so excited, and he wanted to be the laundry man. He wanted to be the laundry man. And so he picked laundry man for his area. And for whatever reason, he found it overwhelming. And then he fell behind. And then it does get overwhelming if you know, haven't really like brought the laundry to completion, you know, each day. So then, you know, he was like, I hate this. I can't do it. It just isn't working out. And he just asked a brother to swap. So it's fine. It's not, you know, like a hardcore inflexible system or whatever. If someone's miserable, they can find someone to change. If they picked it themselves and nobody wants to change, then yeah, they have to keep it until we're going to go through another switch, and then they don't have to have it. As it turned out, this latest round at the beginning of the school year, when we picked new areas, I actually had like my bigger daily jobs, and then I had also some like small jobs that are like 5-minute jobs. And I think the way that it worked out was like every boy had to pick one big job plus 2 of the smaller ones. Or sometimes the smaller ones are like they only have to be done once a week or every other day or something like that. And so by the time everybody picked, nobody wanted laundry. So I said fine, and what I've left that as is that's a pay job. So I will just say, who wants to make some money? And so if I don't get to it, somebody else can get to it, and they can earn some money. Also, great to have that job for people who maybe have a consequence, and then guess what? They can just go spend 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever folding some laundry and delivering towels to the house, okay? So, you know, and really, actually, I don't think anybody hates the laundry that much. It's just a hard job for one kid to have all the time, and that's understandable. So it seems like it's been working actually pretty fine to have people, you know, saying, sure, I'd like to make a couple bucks, and so they go in there and they get it done. So the laundry room isn't perfect. It's not caught up every day like I would like it to be, but I also don't have time to do it myself, so it's fine. You know, if it gets like beat down on Saturday and then it's all caught up, that's fine. I'll pay someone $5 and they can do it all in one fell swoop, and then it's done and we'll go on. So there's that. Any other questions? What ages children do you have, and do they do chores? What have you got going that's working or not working for you? Anybody? Checking my time to make sure I'm going to be out the door when I need to be. Good, you're welcome. I hope that they're helpful. I feel like I'm going to get off of here and then I'm going to say, oh, why didn't I think of telling them that? 19, 17, 15, 12. So very similar to us. Yep, I have a 19, 17, 15, 14, 12, and 23. So I hear you. Solidarity, sister. Yep. Trying to think what else, if I have any other like really brilliant things. I just, you have all your kids do stuff around the house. Yeah, and you have to, you know. Two oldest have chores, two youngest trying. Yes, it is hard when they're little and they goof off and everyone hates the dishes. Do you have to wash dishes by hand at your house, or are they like loading the dishwasher? Including you. Yeah, I don't like to hand wash either. That's not one of my favorites. We have a dishwasher, and actually I have the boys unload, and that's sort of like a general job where I just say, please unload the dishwasher, and everybody just jumps in. Okay, so they can unload, and you know, one thing is they realize now, if a couple of them jump in, then unloading is done in like 5 minutes. Good, you're welcome. I'm glad that that was helpful. So anyways, they can all unload. I actually prefer to do the loading myself because, tell me if you know what I'm talking about. I know how to do it right. I know the exact way to fit the maximum amount of stuff in the dishwasher so that it actually gets clean. And so I generally do the loading myself because we probably run our dishwasher 2 to 3 times a day. 2 times a day for sure, but if we do any sort of, you know, baking or extra cooking or whatever, it'll definitely be 3. So it's not really a control freak thing so much as it is just a practicality of this dishwasher's always going. So yeah, they get half. Yep. So sometimes they do put in. I've tried to kind of teach them as they're getting older what's good about my method, and you know, like we have like certain bowls that fit in certain slots better, and you know, whatever the idiosyncrasies of your layout and your type of dishes and all of that. So I've been teaching them, and they do a pretty good job. So sometimes they do go ahead and load, and then I might just rearrange a few things to, you know, fit the rest of the stuff from the sink in there. But yeah, or you know, when they put a bowl in, like it's like this and it's like filled with dirty, nasty water. What is that? But they do it. I don't know. So it's the way it is. But anyways, but you know, they're pretty handy. Oh, I know another thing that I started this year. I actually have, since my kids are home, you know, for like 3 meals a day. Yes, putting them is a single chore for the 6-year-old. Yeah, well, there you go. So you'll teach her or him, and then you'll know. One thing that we built in this year is I have after lunch helpers and after dinner helpers. So I have teams of 2, boys who are more likely to have an evening sports or like theater or whatever activity. They're my lunch people, and the ones who are more likely to be home during that time are my dinner people. Their job now is at the end of lunch or dinner, they're supposed to put away all the leftovers, clear and wipe off the table. Hopefully, sometimes they're putting stuff into the dishwasher now, wiping off the counter, stuff like that. And we do most of our, well, all of our schooling that's like table work is at the kitchen table. So it's really important for it to get all the way cleared off and wiped clean. So it's helpful to me if they'll go ahead and do that. So now I just say, you know, okay, lunch crew, jump in and do your thing. And, you know, again, this is like 2 boys, this is 5 minutes or whatever that they do that, and then it's done. And a lot of times after lunch, we sit in the living room and I do our reading. We do sunlight, and so I'll read to them for a while. So, you know, the table has time to dry off before we head back to the table for something else. So I found it really helpful to make a list of the chores that need to get done. And this isn't like a Martha Stewart detailed list. This is just like basic stuff to keep up on. And so I would make a list like of all the daily stuff, every chore area. So like, it's going to depend on your house and the size of your house and the age of your kids. But for instance, for us, we have like one person does the whole upstairs vacuuming. One person does the whole downstairs vacuuming plus stairs. We have one person for the bathrooms. We have 2. That's a chore area. We have one person whose job is family room. which includes the school room stuff. Trying to think, what is the other area? We've got the bathroom, the vacuumer, the family room person. Oh, and then the other person's like the living room and kitchen person. Adrian, if you're still on, don't tell how bad the kitchen clutter gets, because that's my job and I don't always get to it. And then like, so those are all things that you should be able to get done in like 15 minutes in my house for the size that we have. Yours might take longer. Then we've got short jobs. Like for instance, I've got one person who does like 5 to 10 minutes of like, take a Walmart bag out to the car and like clean out the trash and bring in, you know, somebody left their coffee mug out there or whatever. They like clean out the car real quick. Somebody whose job is to like, on the deck, like if someone left a bowl out there for like feeding the pets, or I don't know what, something, you know, some piece of junk gets left out on the deck or whatever, like it's their job to clean that up. I've got a guy that's the garbage man, and so like Sunday night's the night the garbage has to go to the road, and he's also in charge of our garbage cans are kind of a little bit inconvenient from the back door, so we usually put our garbage bags when they're full by the back door, and then his job is to take them out to the trash, so that will happen a couple times a day. We also burn like boxes and stuff, and so he's also the burner. So actually it works great for him to be the deck guy as well, because he's already walking through that area a couple times a day, so it's easy for him to just see that something needs to get picked up, and he does that. What are some other quick jobs I have? Let's see. I don't know, but just go ahead and make a list, and you know, just casually when you think of stuff, and then figure out, you know, how many kids do you have and what can you split up. If you only have, you know, 1 or 2 children that are able to do chores and you need more help, you know, maybe you're going to have a morning chore time, and maybe you have like a right before dinner chore time, and maybe you have, you know, 2 things that they do. I find that if you can do it in like 15 minutes, they don't care, they don't mind. It goes all right, and they seem to have always accepted it well. And even for the little ones that you're still, you know, kind of coaching them along and encouraging them and teaching them how to do the stuff, you know, if you make it fun and cheerful, they can hang with you. You know, they're not going to be, you know, terrific at it, but that doesn't matter, because they're just learning to have a good attitude and be part of the team, so it's all right. The other thing I just thought of that we do that's fun. Ooh, I just thought of another one too. Okay, one, if we have like a big messy area or a big project that we have to do, or like getting ready for company or something, sometimes we have what I call the hour of power. And so hour of power means all hands on deck, and for, you know, we set a timer, we blast some music, and sometimes people just like split to their chore areas. Sometimes if I have slackers, we work in a group, so it'll be like all hands on deck for the family room. We actually did that yesterday. We had I scoped about this last week. We had a burst water pipe in our front closet where all of our coats were and stuff, and so we had like all this stuff that was still pulled out and kind of chaotic, and our family room was messy, and so we just needed to like tackle all of that stuff, reorganize the closet, put stuff back in, blah blah. So like everybody just jumped in and did that. So you make it the hour of power and you make it fun. Sometimes you have the half hour of power. That also works. The other thing that we do is sometimes when the laundry has gotten crazy and there's a lot of the boys' clothes in there, even though ideally they were going to do their own laundry, but we just, you know, inevitably end up with some. Then we have what we call name it and claim it. And for name it and claim it, everybody gets an empty laundry basket, and I stand there and I go through a basket full of their clothes, and I say, whose is this? And they, you know, and someone will raise their hand and I throw it to them, and whose is this? Here. And we just go through the basket and we check the thing out, and they name it and claim it, and they take their stuff. And then when everybody's done, they take their basket, they put all their stuff away, and they bring me back the empty basket, and boom, we're done. Only takes a few minutes. It's fun. And so there you go. Hour of power, name it and claim it. Those are very fun. And I amuse myself when I say that. So there you go. True confessions. I think I'm so funny. So there you go. Any other questions before I go? I hope this has been helpful. So I think keeping it simple, being realistic about what you can keep up on and what your kids can do, that seems to work the best for me. There's, you know, I never really was big on charts or paying a certain amount of, you're welcome, a certain amount of money for whatever. I can't keep up on stuff like that, and my kids don't expect me to. You know what I just thought of too? I won't go into this today, but one of these days I will tell you about Treasure Box and when people can earn tickets. We've outgrown it now. It was very fun until they got too big for it. And color coding. Yes, I'll have to make a note for that. I want you to go ahead and follow me, Enrichment Home, and then hopefully you'll be able to see my other scopes when I do one, and I can tell you about our color coding system that we've used for years and our fun way that they earned, actually it was poker chips, not tickets. They earned chips, and then they could buy stuff from our treasure box. So I'll tell you about that another day. All right, thank you guys for stopping by. Have a good day.